make the whole world sing.
I think I was tired. It's not an excuse, it's a fact. I think I was weary because I had worked tremendously for the years preceding that period, worked constantly.
I'm losing. These were Frank Sinatra's final whispered words as his voice faded inside the emergency room. His own children were never even notified in time to rush to his bedside and hold his hand. Nearly 30 years after that fateful night, the velvet curtain surrounding one of Hollywood's most famous families was suddenly torn away. A long-delayed confession buried bitterness and the dark truth behind the powerful fourth wife. What really happened during the final moments of a legend? Let's uncover it right now. At 10:50 p.m. on May 14, 1998, Frank Sinatra passed away at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles following a heart attack. He was 82 years old. The death of the man known as The Voice quickly became headline news around the world, bringing to a close a career that had spanned more than half a century as one of America's most influential music icons. Before his death, Frank Sinatra's health had been in serious decline for many years. He battled numerous medical conditions, including heart disease, respiratory complications, high blood pressure, pneumonia, and bladder cancer. Multiple sources also reported signs of cognitive decline during the final years of his life. His deteriorating health led him to withdraw almost completely from public appearances. Following a major heart attack in February 1997, Frank Sinatra no longer appeared in public. His final performances were behind him, while medical treatment and daily care became the highest priority. Fans could only learn about his condition through the occasional updates released by his family and representatives. During his final hours, the person by Frank Sinatra's side was his fourth wife, Barbara Marx Sinatra. According to family accounts and published sources, his last recorded words were, "I'm losing." Those few simple words have since been remembered by many as the closing moment in the life of a legend who had dominated stages and recording studios for decades. Many years later, Tina Sinatra revealed that she and her siblings were not present when their father died. According to her, the family received a call from the doctor only after Frank Sinatra's condition had become irreversible. By this time the children arrived at the hospital, everything was over. That detail became one of the memories that weighed heavily on Tina for many years. The circumstances also sparked ongoing discussion about how Frank Sinatra's final hours were handled. Tina never directly accused anyone during her interviews, though she repeatedly spoke about feeling that the children never truly had the opportunity to be with their father during the most important moment of his life. It was a feeling she continued to share as she reflected on the tragedy, nearly 3 decades later. Frank Sinatra's funeral was held on May 20, 1998, at the Church of the Good Shepherd in Beverly Hills. The private service brought together many artists, political figures, and close friends. The solemn atmosphere reflected Frank Sinatra's extraordinary place in the entertainment industry and American cultural life. Behind what appeared to be a peaceful ceremony, disagreements emerged between Barbara Marx Sinatra and Frank Sinatra's 3 children. Published accounts stated that the two sides disagreed over the scale of the funeral, as well as whether the casket should remain open or closed during the viewing. Those differences created tension within the family. In her memoir, published years later, Tina Sinatra described feeling that she and her siblings had been pushed to the sidelines in many decisions involving their father. She believed the distance between the children and their stepmother continued to grow after Frank Sinatra's death. Those experiences left a lasting impact on the relationships within the family. The events surrounding the funeral did not immediately become a public controversy, though they laid the foundation for questions that continued for many years afterward. Outside the family, the public mourned a legendary entertainer. Inside the family, unresolved tensions remained and were rarely discussed publicly. That is why the revelations made nearly 3 decades later attracted such widespread attention. For the first time, Tina Sinatra looked back not only on her father's final night, but also on the things she had kept hidden for many years. What she kept hidden. This past June, Tina Sinatra became the center of attention as she appeared in a series of interviews marking the debut of Sinatra the Musical at London's Aldwych Theatre. The production began performances in July and is scheduled to run through April 10, 2027. As the executive producer, Tina spoke openly about her family's private life for the first time, instead of focusing solely on her father's career. In interviews with Reuters, Tatler, and the television program This Morning, Tina Sinatra did not portray her father as a perfect parent. She stated that Frank Sinatra was frequently absent as a father. According to her, he devoted most of his time to tours, recording sessions, and work, leaving very little time with his children. Tina described Frank Sinatra as a distant, physically absent parent. She said that even when he was home, his demanding schedule meant he rarely took part in the everyday lives of his children. These remarks were delivered in a calm tone, not as criticism, but as an honest reflection of the reality her family experienced. She also openly said that Frank Sinatra was no saint. According to Tina, her father was a remarkably talented man who also had many flaws just like anyone else. He made decisions that hurt his family and left behind many issues that could not be resolved during his lifetime. One of the most widely quoted remarks from her interviews came when Tina said Frank Sinatra had created a lot of messes. She did not use harsh language or place the blame on any single event. Instead, she acknowledged that the choices her father made in his personal life directly affected members of the family for decades. These remarks were quickly quoted by major international news organizations because it was one of the rare occasions when one of Frank Sinatra's children publicly acknowledged both his greatness and his shortcomings. Tina did not deny her father's place in music history, though she also made no attempt to hide what had taken place behind the spotlight. Working on Sinatra the Musical also gave Tina a different perspective on her family's history. As she watched the entire story come to life on stage, she said she came to understand her mother, Nancy Barbato, far better than before. She also reconsidered Frank Sinatra's famous relationship with Ava Gardner from a much calmer perspective. In her interview with Tatler, Tina said that if she could meet Nancy Barbato and Ava Gardner again, the first thing she would say would be, "I didn't realize how wonderful you both really were." According to Tina, only after many years of reflection did she truly understand the sacrifices and pressures the two most important women in Frank Sinatra's life had endured. Tina also revealed that the relationship between her mother and Ava Gardner was nothing like the public had imagined. According to her, Nancy Barbato never spoke badly about Ava in front of the children. Years later, Tina herself became friends with Ava Gardner and had the opportunity to understand the woman who had once shared such a profound bond with her father. The interviews this year received positive reactions because of Tina Sinatra's careful choice of words. She did not try to change Frank Sinatra's public image, nor did she seek to defend his reputation unconditionally. Instead, Tina expressed her hope that the public would see her father as a real human being with achievements, mistakes, and complicated relationships. Tina Sinatra's remarks also drew greater attention to Sinatra the Musical. Many critics observed that the production does not present Frank Sinatra as a flawless figure, but portrays both the heights of his career and the many upheavals in his private life. Tina said that was exactly how she wanted her family's story to be told to the public. Those perspectives also raise a question about the price behind the glory. Frank Sinatra's journey to becoming one of the greatest icons in 20th century entertainment was shaped not only by talent and success, but also by pressures and sacrifices that followed him throughout his life. Behind the glory. Frank Sinatra first rose to fame in the early 1940s as a vocalist for several major big bands before launching his solo career. His distinctive voice and deeply expressive performance style quickly made him the idol of millions. It did not take long for Frank Sinatra to move beyond the role of an ordinary singer and become a cultural phenomenon across the United States. Frank Sinatra's reputation continued to grow as he released one successful recording after another and established a unique identity in the entertainment industry. Songs such as My Way, Fly Me to the Moon, Strangers in the Night, and New York gradually became inseparable from his name, helping shape a career that spanned more than half a century. Alongside his music career, Frank Sinatra also made a lasting impact in Hollywood. After a period when his film career had stalled, he returned with remarkable success in From Here to Eternity. His portrayal of Angelo Maggio earned him the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor at the 1954 Oscars, marking a major turning point in his acting career. Frank Sinatra's success extended beyond film. He became the central figure of the Rat Pack, the legendary group that included Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Peter Lawford, and Joey Bishop. Their performances in Las Vegas turned the group into an icon of American entertainment, while strengthening Sinatra's position as one of the most influential performers of his era. Frank Sinatra's fame reached far beyond the entertainment industry. He became an American cultural icon with connections to numerous politicians, business leaders, and other influential figures. His name became closely associated with Las Vegas, Hollywood, and the music industry, giving him an influence that reached far beyond that of a performing artist. As he grew older, his workload remained largely unchanged. Even as his health began to decline, Frank Sinatra continued accepting invitations to perform at major events. According to Tina Sinatra, the people around him continued encouraging him to maintain his performance schedule instead of spending more time resting and receiving treatment. In recent interviews, Tina did not place the blame on any specific individual. She did say that the working environment and the people managing Frank Sinatra contributed to his continued appearances on stage, even when his physical condition was no longer suited to the demands of live performances. Following his severe heart attack, Frank Sinatra brought nearly all of his performing activities to an end. That moment marked the point when his health could no longer support the demanding schedule he had maintained for decades. The final months of his life were devoted primarily to medical treatment and care rather than artistic work. Behind that extraordinary career stood a family life marked by turmoil, high-profile marriages, and controversies that continued for many years after Frank Sinatra's death. Hidden family story. Frank Sinatra's first wife was Nancy Barbato. They married in 1939 and had 3 children, Nancy Sinatra, Frank Sinatra Jr., and Tina Sinatra. Their marriage ended in divorce in 1951 after years of strain caused by Frank Sinatra's rising fame and his relationships outside the marriage. Frank Sinatra later married actress Ava Gardner in one of Hollywood's most famous marriages. Their relationship was marked by repeated separations, reconciliations, and public conflicts before ending in divorce. Even so, Ava Gardner remained an important influence on Frank Sinatra for many years. His third marriage to Mia Farrow began in 1966 and drew attention because of their age difference. The marriage lasted only a short time. In 1976, Frank Sinatra married Barbara Marx, who remained his wife until his death. During interviews in 2026, Tina Sinatra said her view of Ava Gardner had changed over time. She eventually became friends with Ava and came to better understand the woman behind the movie star image. Tina also rejected the belief that Nancy Barbato and Ava Gardner had always been rivals. According to her, Nancy never spoke badly about Ava in front of the children, something Tina came to appreciate even more as an adult. Frank Sinatra was also frequently linked to individuals believed to have ties to organized crime, including Sam Giancana. Tina acknowledged that her father knew some of those people, explaining that influential figures were often around the family. She also said she had never seen evidence that Frank Sinatra personally took part in criminal activity. The greatest family controversy emerged after Frank Sinatra's death. Tina described the growing distance between the children and Barbara Marx Sinatra, after Barbara became Frank Sinatra's primary caregiver during his final years. According to published accounts and Tina's own recollections, Barbara was accused of controlling his medical care, limiting the children's access to him, and failing to notify them promptly when his condition became critical. Tina never confirmed that every accusation was true, though she admitted those events troubled her for many years. Tina also revealed that she stopped speaking to her father for about a year, a decision she later called her greatest regret. During their final meeting at the hospital, Frank Sinatra called her by her childhood nickname, Pigeon, before saying, "I'm sorry, Pigeon." Those words became the last memory she carried of her father. These complicated family relationships continue to shape the way Frank Sinatra's legacy was preserved, from his estate and image rights to the role each family member played in projects created long after his passing. Lasting legacy. Frank Sinatra's will was drafted in 1991 and became the center of public attention following his death. According to the published documents, his fourth wife, Barbara Marx Sinatra, received at least $3.5 million in cash, along with several properties in Beverly Hills, Malibu, and Palm Springs. She also continued managing many of the rights associated with her husband's legacy. His three children, Nancy Sinatra, Frank Sinatra Jr., and Tina Sinatra, each received $200,000 in cash under the terms of the will. In addition to this inheritance, they continued participating in the management and development of Frank Sinatra's intellectual property through Frank Sinatra Enterprises, the organization responsible for protecting and expanding the value of his brand. For many years, Frank Sinatra Enterprises managed the rights to Frank Sinatra's image name, music, and commercial products. The organization also took part in numerous documentary films, books, television programs, and archival projects aimed at preserving his lasting influence. In 2025, the rights to Frank Sinatra's name and likeness were transferred to Iconic Artists Group. The agreement expanded the management of his legacy across new platforms and created opportunities for future music film and stage productions to continue moving forward. Today, Tina Sinatra remains one of the key figures responsible for preserving her father's legacy. She lives a relatively private life and appears publicly only at events connected to Frank Sinatra. Most of her work focuses on cultural projects and preserving the family's historical archives. The most prominent project is Sinatra the Musical, which is being performed at the Aldwych Theatre in London. Tina serves as the executive producer, taking a direct role in developing the production, so it reflects both Frank Sinatra's career and his private life. The musical has received mixed reviews. Some critics believe the production falls short of breaking new ground on stage, while many others have praised its straightforward approach and its refusal to present Frank Sinatra as an idealized figure. Tina has stated that the goal of the project is to tell the true story of her father, including both his achievements and his flaws. Nancy Sinatra continues to remain active in music and frequently shares family memories. Frank Sinatra Jr., who followed in his father's footsteps as a performer, passed away in 2016 after suffering cardiac arrest while on tour. Each member of the family has chosen a different path, and they continue working to preserve and strengthen the legacy Frank Sinatra left behind. Frank Sinatra's music continues to appear on streaming platforms, in films, advertisements, and numerous television programs. His most famous songs continue generating substantial revenue through royalties and licensing agreements. In recent interviews, Tina has repeatedly emphasized that Frank Sinatra's influence cannot be erased from the history of music. She once said, "Cancel Frank impossible." Nearly 3 decades after Frank Sinatra's death, Tina Sinatra's reflections have given the public a broader understanding of the man behind the title The Voice. He was a remarkable artist, a father whose story still contained many unfinished chapters, and the source of a legacy that his family continues to preserve to this day. Frank Sinatra left the world in 1998, though the stories surrounding his life have never truly come to an end. Through Tina Sinatra's account, the public has come to understand more clearly that behind every legend stand both triumphs and unfinished chapters. If you enjoy stories that reveal the lesser-known sides of legendary public figures, be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and join us for our upcoming videos.